They're trying to get us all to fight with each other all the time. This divide and conquer shit, right? Like, remember when everybody was getting mad at gay pride parades? People got so mad, they decided to start a straight parade. You know what straight parades sound like to me? Gay as fuck.
Sam Tripoli is on the Adam Carolla Show.
All right. Sam here. Special is out as we speak. SamTripoli.com. Yeah.
Why is everybody getting quiet? It's on Rumble. It's on SamTripoli.com and Twitter. Not going to put it on YouTube because they'll just shadow ban it to the dark realm. So why even bother?
That is the thing.
Now it makes sense because I was saying that. I kept saying to Joe Prane, I was like, is it on YouTube? He's like, not on YouTube, just on SamTripoli.com. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
Really? But it's on other platforms.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I get
YouTube.
I get a lot of love on Twitter. I get no love on YouTube and no love. I have on Instagram. I have 124,000 followers on Instagram. I put a post up the other day, 25 likes.
Oh, wow.
How is that even possible?
Why is that?
Well,
Because I talk mad shit.
every time that you show up on my YouTube, there's a thing that says reptilian something or another underneath. It's like a community note. I'm like, what the hell? And I watched the video and you didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
They like are following you around.
Oh, yeah,
I think they
sure.
are the reptilians then, huh?
100%.
Oh,
These
now I'm
Anunnakis,
imagining-
bro. These Sumerians.
Oh, jeez.
all right, I have something that's going to put a smile back on your face.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
So my dog died this afternoon.
Damn. Oh, my God.
Listen, for the record, my dad was a good guy.
Yes.
You just wouldn't
We
want
get
him
it.
to be your dad. I don't know how else to say it.
I get it.
And by the way, everyone who does a thing, they do with me, they go, why are you talking shit? It's like, why are you acting this way? I mean,
Yeah.
and listen, I'm allowed to report truths.
Yep.
Whether it's COVID or my dad. If you'd like to avoid it, don't act a certain way or don't do a certain thing. Because what I'm not allowed to do is embellish.
Yes, I agree. Dave.
But I may speak about actual. I'm talking shit about my mom, except for I just gave you verbatim her walking through my front door with Jon Stewart. Now, she didn't have to do that.
I agree.
But she did it. So
My
now
dad
I'm
is
reporting
like
it. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
My dad is like that. It's like, I know we're going to move on, but it's like, I look at my father's life. I think he did everything wrong, so I wouldn't repeat it. So it's like, we're allowed to say that because they have a big influence on our life, whether it's impactful or doing nothing.
I literally just did the opposite of everything my family ever did, and it was my key to success.
Damn.
I would. I remember
saw what they did, and you did the opposite.
I remember one time when I was moving out of one house into another house, and I was like, should I sell this house or should I rent it? And I was talking to my mom, and I go, I'm thinking about renting the house, but I don't know if I might sell it, I might rent it. She goes, you rent it. You never know. A bunch of bikers could move in, start cooking meth. So you don't think it's a good idea to rent? Well, people come in, they sue you, they mess the place up. And I go, or you have income, and the value goes up. She goes, I don't know. People coming in there, I wouldn't rent. I was like, thank you, Mom. Thanks for the advice.
You put it up.
Rented the fucking house.
Yeah.
Made a bunch of money. Yeah. So it works. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Jimmy does that with me in the Super Bowl. He goes, who do you like this year? I go, why? I want to bet the opposite. And I got a whole team of guys blowing my phone up around the Super Bowl wanting to know how to bet. It was a bet the opposite of the team I picked. All right. Dodgers. You're excited about the Dodgers.
Love them.
You watched the game, and they had the replay at the plate.
Yes.
Head first slide. Look from the one angle, especially like the hand slid in under the shin protector, and it looked like he was safe. In real time, looked like he was thrown out. In the replay, which they looked at 5 different angles, it looked like he touched the plate and the hand slid in under the thing. And then they reviewed it, and they said he was out. And then they did this one, which I heard the commentator say, which always drives me nuts. It always drives me nuts in football because I watch a lot of football, but I guess it applies in baseball too. They go, it looks like he got his hand in under the shin guard, but it may not be enough to overturn the call on the field. And I'm like, what do you mean enough?
Yeah.
Just look at the replay and make the call. You don't need 55%, or you just need safe or out.
Keep it simple,
Do not
stupid.
weigh in the missed call. We're only looking at this because there was potentially a bad call.
Right.
So what they do is they go, well, he looks safe, but not enough. And so my feeling is, this is where the replay Gimp comes in. I do not want the person on the field to know the original call. I want them just to look at the footage and safe or out.
You mean the people back at the booth? You don't want them to look,
Yes.
or you want
the
Gimp
people
to come
back
out?
at the booth know the call.
Okay.
So there's a Gimp in a box. He's
There's
not
a
watching
Gimp,
the game
he's in
at
the
all.
stadium.
He's not watching
He's
the
like
game at all.
hopping
He's in the
leather.
stadium. He's in the stadium.
Yeah.
We got the music.
You take him out of the box.
Dawson, I think, couldn't have seen this one coming.
Yeah.
But we got the replay, Gimp. The music. Now, so they throw the flag. They throw the red flag, and you hear this in the stadium. Dawson, come on. We knew this one was
Oh
coming.
man,
right?
that's crazy.
Are you looking at the play?
yeah.
All right.
8
All right, we
different
don't have it.
languages.
He's just
We do have it.
sliding in.
All right.
Up.
So you
Open
see
the
the red.
box.
Pull it back, Dawson, for a second. We're a well-oiled machine here. You hear, you see the red flag. You see the coach. You can start it. Go ahead, Dawson. Start from the beginning. You start it. You see the red flag. Don't replay it, please. It distracts everyone. Stop that. All right, hold on. Let's see if we can work this out. Dawson, you can just start it when I cue you. How about this? There's a play at the plate. He's called safe or out. And then at some point, you see the skipper come out or the football coach. I think it's more football. And he throws the red flag. And then you hear. Almost. And the crowd goes nuts.
Everyone
the crowd
loves-
goes nuts. And the Gimp,
Replay Gimp.
who's got
Everyone
the
loves-
3 hot chicks,
Yep.
they run him like they
it.
run the Buffalo at
Yes.
Colorado. And they just run him. And first the light fucks him up.
Yeah,
right?
because he's
like,
been in the box.
Yeah.
All right. So he comes out and he's got the hood on and everything. Is like and the hot chicks,
Yeah.
dressed in like tight leather
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
and they're running him out and they're flogging him.
Yeah.
They're flogging him
Yeah.
with his leash. They're pulling him. They're
Right,
pulling him by the
right,
Gimp leash, and they're
right.
flogging him. He's
Yeah.
running out. And he's disoriented. And the crowd's going.
Yeah.
Yanked
going
by the
insane.
chain. By the chain,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He's
Okay.
being pulled. Being
Okay.
pulled. And then at some point.
I'm guessing he's bent over into a video village.
He
sort
goes
of thing.
under the-
Oh yeah,
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 under the
yeah.
hood.
He goes up.
Okay.
He's bent over into the
Yeah,
thing.
He goes under the hood. Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes
a pommel horse situation.
Yeah.
He goes under, and then he comes out, and he does the safe or the out or whatever.
No, I was thinking they
Do
would
they-
unzip his
Unzip
mouth.
it.
Slowly
Unzip
take
his
the
mouth,
ball gag
and then
out.
he gives
And
it.
it's a
You're right.
big
No, this is
presentation.
why we workshop these ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
he does in his Gimp voice, all right. Now, or, touchdown or
Yeah.
out of bounds or
Yeah.
whatever that is in the big Gimp voice, right? And then if he makes the bad call, if he makes a call against the crowd, like this was in Yankee Stadium, so if he goes out,
Yeah.
the crowd starts booing, and the chicks really
Beat the
start
shit
beating,
out of him,
just
yeah.
start beating him as they run him back to
Because he
his
doesn't
cage.
know what the correct
Yes.
answer.
No,
Yeah.
he doesn't
What,
know.
what
He doesn't
was
know.
called?
He doesn't know where he is.
Yeah, he doesn't know what teams are playing.
He's,
anything.
he's disoriented. He doesn't even know what baseball is. He doesn't know anything. He's just saying what he sees, And then he gets flogged, and he goes back, and he,
I'm in.
every stadium will have their own Gimp. When that red flag went out, Dawson. Yeah, you got to look, otherwise I won't be able to do this part. When that red flag went out and that music kicked in, the fucking place
Goes nuts.
Yeah.
goes nuts. They'd be praying for close plays
Yes.
at the plate or in the back of the end zone or whatever that is.
The way the Angels went crazy for the rally monkey, we would
Yes.
go crazy for
Yes.
the replay Gimp.
Yes.
Replay Gimp.
Yeah, they go
Replay
nuts.
Gimp.
And then you could do a whole story of the choosing of the replay Gimp, like
Yeah.
who gets, because maybe they have a couple people that are interested in being Gimp.
They would
Yeah.
have to keep their identities.
Yes.
We wouldn't.
Yes.
We couldn't know who they were, like
Yeah.
mascots.
Be a
you
new
know,
class of
colleges.
people, 21, 26. It's like 3 generations. I'm the 3rd generation replay Gimp.
And the crowd would almost root for a call that went against their team just for the flogging
Yes.
aspect of it. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
They could, people could throw beers at him as he's going back through
And
the
he's
tunnel
loving
and dumping
it. It's
stuff
like he's
on
living
there.
his best life.
He's doing a kind of Quasimodo thing, it's like, and they would stop, before the tunnel, and people would shower him with beer bottles and stuff, and then they'd flog him and pull him back.
Yeah. No, you have the kids whip him too, like extra, getting even weirder with it.
Yeah.
And then you'd have protests of people who want to get rid of the Gimp.
Pam Anderson would not be a fan.
She's like, free the Gimp, let him live his best life.
And then you'd have kids showing up as Gimps to the stadium, like people dressed as Gimps, and then the commentators would go like, "That's crossed the line."
And then you'd have Gimps going to school, reading to kindergartners. People would be upset. Why is the Gimp reading to the kids?
Gimp bobblehead night.
Gimp bobblehead night.
Oh my God! Yeah, it'd be huge. It'd be huge. I don't know if you know Goodell or any of the guys over there, but
I think based on Goodell's face, I think he'd be into a Gimp. That's all I gotta say.
You think he'd be into it?
Oh yeah, according to John Gruden's emails, I think he'd be into a Gimp.
By the way, the Gimp idea is Rich Eisen from the NFL Network. It's his favorite idea of all time. I've told that guy every time I see that guy, he goes, "Replay Gimp." And then he starts laughing like an insane person.
He's on the network.
I know. I could get this. I could get Rich to get this thing done. All right. What do we got here? We got some
news.
All right.
TMZ reporting Gisele Bundchen pregnant with Joaquim Valente's child. As we well know, 44-year-old Giselle's pregnant and expecting her first child. Joaquim, sources close to the model confirmed to TMZ, were told she's about 5 or 6 months along in her pregnancy.
Never let your chick buy jujitsu, guys. Never let them buy the jujitsu, guys.
As a jujitsu black belt, I would say, keep your girl away from me.
100%.
No, Tom Brady.
What chance does any of us have if Tom Brady's getting cheated on?
I know.
What do you have to do to be like, you got the best, you're going to have it?
I know.
Yeah. It's impossible. If they can cheat on him, they can cheat on all of us.
And it just gets to this thing in our society. It's just like, in a weird way, women have won. There's no rules. They can do whatever they want. And then at some point, they'd be like, yeah, I'm not like that anymore. And don't judge me by all that stuff I did willingly back in the day.
Yeah, there's no guardrails anymore.
There's no guardrails. It is just go around, do whatever you want. Especially when you see how the magazines treat a woman who gets caught cheating on her man versus a man who gets caught cheating on his wife. Mm-hmm. If it's a man cheating on a wife, he's done. You remember who was it? That one singer. He had that gorgeous black wife, and he cheated on her, and his album just tanked. Robert something. I forget.
Yeah, you can't. If you're white and you're a dude, you can't cheat on your black wife or girlfriend.
His career tanked. And then you go the other way, they're like, he just didn't care enough about her.
Listen, I'll give the ultimate flip the script. You got to get divorced to really experience this. But the version of you go out, make all the money, buy everything, pay for everything, and do everything, and your partner doesn't do jack shit. And if you had that, and there's a lot of these arrangements, divorce or not, where the woman just hangs out and the dude's rich.
Yeah.
And the dude's out working and hustling and getting his thing on, and she's doing a little charity work and eating sushi and has the maid, has the dog walker, has the nanny, has the cleaning crew on Sundays and stuff. If you did that, you'd be a fucking pariah.
Yeah, 100%.
You'd be a piece of shit. When you walked into the room, we would turn our backs. We would turn our backs and face the other way because there's no such thing. Because I would go, you have a cleaning crew? Yeah. You have a dog walker? Yeah. You have a nanny? Yeah. Do you have a job? No. What the fuck are you doing all day?
Yeah, what are you doing all day? It was like that. They would always have this on Jerry Springer, where a guy would bring his wife in, and she'd basically bang the entire neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "You didn't show me any attention." He's like, "Because I was working all the time. I had to go to work constantly to pay the bills."
Work is a weird thing now that there's no more coal mines. I don't think women can wrap their mind around indoor work, you know.
What is the definition of work now?
Well, a guy would come home covered in coal dust
Yeah.
and throw his boots down and his lunch pail down and collapse on the sofa and take the cash he made, you know, put it on the dresser. And that was like, that fucking dude's getting meatloaf and a blowjob.
Yeah.
Now, you did a set at Dingleberry's? Who gives a shit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know
I
what
do that all the time. You just podcast. That's all you do.
You
I'm
drink a beer and make fun of Asians, and that's your job. That's work.
Yeah.
Oh, real tough
That's
job.
a great point,
You
dude.
sit with Jimmy and write fart jokes all day. That's tough.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right, dude.
And by the way, you didn't pay for this. Apple Pay paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
totally true.
Money's invisible
They don't
and
care.
work's air conditioning, and it's not really.
You know,
a thing anymore.
I had a long time ago, I had a relationship and we were trying to save it. And so we weren't married, but we went to therapy. And the girl got really mad because I wanted kind of the part of the tradition, which was I was out working all the time, come home to a meal and be taken care of and show appreciation and take care of the kids. And the female therapist thought that was like, I was being male chauvinist from the 1950s. I go, but none of you are complaining that I'm paying for everything like a man from the 1950s.
Yeah, look, you either make money and give it to the maid and give it to the chef and give it to the dog walker and or you don't make money and you do that shit yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. It's pretty simple. It's time honored. My grandmother and grandfather back in the 60s, 70s had to flip the script relationship. My grandmother worked at the VA. She had to go in every day as a counselor, whatever the fuck she did over the VA. She had to go to Westwood. They lived in North Hollywood.
Damn.
And my grandfather didn't have a job. My grandmother spent the entire day cooking and fixing the sprinklers and going to the supermarket and cleaning. If my grandmother walked through the house and saw a fucking maid in there and him watching TV,
Could not
she would have been
agree
like,
more.
what the fuck am I paying this bitch for?
Yeah,
Get up, get
yeah.
off your ass. I'm at work all day. Go. He knew it. He was scared shitless of her. We all knew it. And I mean, the look on that guy's face, she walked through the door at 6 p.m. within 30 seconds of 6 p.m. She worked at the VA. They just fucking punched out right at
bang.
5, sat on the 405. If she walked through that door and dinner wasn't on the table, the look in his face, total and utter fear. Yeah. Also, the only good thing about therapy with a woman, it never works. But the only good thing is you can get a little peek into a curtain of what they think about, and you can hear stories that you're like, what?
Yeah.
That's your version of this?
I know.
Like where you go, oh, that's the version of this that's in your head?
Yeah.
Because I would have never known it if we didn't sit in here. I heard one of these. I was in with my ex-wife, and at some point, talking about me being a dick or something, and she goes, well, let's not have, another situation like what happened with our daughter, when we're went camping over in the extra house or whatever thing. And I go, what are you talking about? She goes, remember when we went to Kevin Costner's house? Okay, you can stop right there. I don't have any of those stories, but yeah, we went to Costner's house, right? Because I played a benefit for the troops, and then he dug my shit, and so we became friends. Yeah. So he invited us to his acreage in Ventura County. Yeah, he has a guest house. Yeah. Remember we went and we hung out with Cosner all day? Yeah. And he threw 50-yard bombs to my son, like field of fucking dreams. Yeah. I go, yeah. And then we had dinner at his house with him and his wife. I go, yeah. And then we got back to the cabin. I go, yeah, I remember that. And then you wanted to leave? I go, yeah, I do remember wanting to leave and sleep in my own bed. Right. Remember, your daughter started crying. Remember that? I go, yeah, kind of. But then she goes, well, that's trauma. I go, well, wait a minute. But we stayed, right? We slept over? Yeah, we stayed, but come on now.
Oh,
I go,
damn.
Well, wait a minute, hold on. Is this story that we went to Kevin Costner's house He threw the ball and we had dinner, and then we stayed at his cabin, and then I wanted to leave. I was like 10 o'clock at night. I just go, look, I don't want to stay in the cabin. We'll be home in an hour and a half. But my daughter goes, no, we're staying. And I went, okay, fuck it, we'll stay. And we stayed.
Yeah.
That's the story?
Yeah.
What side of the ledger is that story?
That's trauma.
And by the way,
How did that...
Well, the thing about therapy...
But if you go to therapy, you can find out that story's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Somehow, it's kind of insane, but it's there.
do we fantasize that there was a time where Dad would have the say of that we're going? Was there a time, or is that just an illusion that we're sold on?
I think, well, first off, you have to sort of deconstruct things. Like, how do I know Kevin Costner? I know Kevin Costner because when I was 22 and making $9 an hour swinging a hammer on a construction site, I thought to myself, I'm going to pay for a Groundlings class. There's got to be better than this out there for me. That's how I first met Kevin Costner. I thought to myself, I got to get off this fucking construction site and into something I want to do. That was the beginning. Mm-hmm. At some point, after I had a career, I agreed for free to go to the Reagan Library in Simi Valley on a Sunday night and entertain the troops for no compensation, even though I was busy as shit, because I agreed to do a charity.
Yeah.
Then I met him there, and that was, 28 years later. But that's how I met Kevin. I only met Kevin Costner because I was doing charity for the troops. And then I impressed Kevin Costner enough that he decided he liked me and he wanted to invite us to his home. Not me and my girlfriend. I could have said, Kevin, how about my guma? How about I just come by solo and we have a few pops? And we'll go to the local watering hole. I'll be in there with Costner. Don't worry. There's going to be some sloppy seconds here. There's going to be some runoff here. Now, I then said to my family, good news, we've been invited to Kevin Costner's ranch to spend the night and take the kids. And Costner was a mensch. We rode bikes. He threw he's got an arm on him. 30-yard bombs, 60-yard bombs. But that's the only reason we're there is because it's something that our dads would have never done in 200,000 million years. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I should have at that point been able to say, Dad would like to sleep in his own bed tonight. Also, Dad's on the road all the time, so sleeping at home is kind of a thing. And yes, family could have gone along with that, but no. We had a Mexican standoff
unbelievable.
in Costner's cabin, and then that went down as a loss for Dad.
Yeah,
because he
Dad
said he wanted to
takes the
sleep.
L.
Dad took the L because I wanted to sleep my own bed, and I gave it up.
Yeah, and you still got shit for it. Even though you took the L that night and agreed to stay.
Well, it was very traumatic.
That's right. Very traumatic. You guys remember hanging at Costner's house.
Back to the news. Jeff Bezos
news.
defends Washington Post decision to stop endorsing presidents days before election. So long and short of it is that, right before the election, Jeff Bezos just decided, oh, no, we're not going to endorse any presidential candidate.
They just know that this thing is so done. The only hope is some kind of rigging going on. It's so, if you're actually watching the traders, the trading, it's like 30-point blowouts. And that's why he's like, why are we going to put our name on a dying cow?
Yeah. Well, also, I do believe that these publications have realized that they've lost all credibility.
Yes.
There's no business model here. I wouldn't listen to anything that came out of Los Angeles Times ever, or the New York Times ever, or even CNN. I don't believe it. You traded your credibility. You started to lose it during Hunter Biden's laptop, and then you completely lost it during COVID. You have no fucking credibility anymore, and you need to start trying to claw some of it back.
I would say they lost it during Hillary versus Trump and Hillary versus Bernie, where we saw this kind of moment where everybody, Bernie was playing stadiums and Hillary Clinton was putting Sam Tripoli numbers into a cafe. You know what I'm saying? And we're told that they're neck and neck, and it was the first time what we saw and what they were telling us was starting to diverge.
Don't you think that it's always been this way, and now because of the internet. We get this information.
Well, yeah, now we can all
more
talk
often.
and be like,
and
this
there's
doesn't make
more,
sense.
and there's more misinformation out there where we don't even know what's true anymore.
Well, they don't want you to know. That's the ultimate demoralization. You don't know who to trust and what, and that's kind of the game. Like after the Trump assassination, within 5 minutes they had 3 guys. It could be any of these 3 guys. Like, how do you know that? Like 5 minutes after this thing happened, it could be one of these 3 guys. And I was like, oh, they're just, if they can't control it, they're flooding it. They're just flooding it.
So I think these publications are going to have to start tacking back toward the center and not know they're just sort of bought and paid for by the Democratic Party, because that's not a great business model for them. So maybe, the LA Times did this. Yeah. Probably over different reasons. Bezos is probably. And then they're going to have all the hardcore nut jobs quit or whatever. And they're going to have to just sort of purge it and get back to something.
Cut the dead weight and get back to just giving the news. That they really have to go, okay, we've lost the narrative. We've lost their trust. We're going to have to spend time bringing them back in.
I've said, interesting thought experiment. I've said to almost everyone in this building, if I'd asked you about CNN 10 years ago, what would you say? They'd go, I don't know, news, whatever. I said, if you asked them today, would you believe me? They go, I'd have to look at, I'd have to do some more, whatever on it. But that means you've lost your...
Yeah, isn't it sort of a product of the culture, though, that anybody who wants to go into journalism now is either one way or another because they're hyper-partisanized by the culture, by the internet, by everything that we do.
If you go one way or the other. Like if you go hard right, hard left, there's a lot more business than down the middle.
Down the middle.
Because engagement drives traffic.
And that's the scary part.
How about this, Adam? I agree. Rachel Maddow, whose batting average is worse than Aaron Judge in the World Series right now, like is back on Russian collusion.
Yeah.
She just had a big thing the other day where I forgot the name of the lady. They were just like, Russia's probably going to interfere with this election. I'm like, how are you allowed to say that when you burnt all the trust you had pushing? Oh, dude, they're going to hit our energy grids. Completely wrong about everything.
Yeah, the Nord Stream pipeline. And It is weird with a straight face because you can put together a 2-hour montage of these people going, you get the vaccine stops. Yeah. You don't get infected, you don't spread the infection, it stops. With such pomposity and conviction, right there. It's never ending. It's weird. They're like fighters that get knocked out and come right back and fight the next week and have no thoughts about it.
Way back in the day, Louis Anderson used to talk about comedy. Comedians would decide what's funny, and then at some point the Suits took over, and then people were creating entertainment, not to entertain the people, but to entertain the Suits and give the Suits what they wanted.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what happened to the news. Like the news is only saying what their bosses want to hear instead of telling us what we need to know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's a fun one. Carlos Mencia gave a full moon at a comedy gig. Just straight pulled his ass cheeks out. Yeah, a couple was being rude at a stand-up set, and he dropped his pants, took a bow, and showed him his bare ass.
I have a theory with mooning and BAs.
All right.
Guys with hairy asses don't do it. We live in shame. We live in shame. Guys with smooth brown asses do it all the time.
You're right.
They do it all the time. Like they just will do it if your ass.
And it's not even a good ass to moon. Dude.
I know.
I mean,
my ass is too white and too hairy to whip it out.
That thing has dents in it. Look at it; it's got dents in it.
I don't know. Maybe he's using the wrong filter.
I don't know, bro. But but why is this a story? It's so crazy.
The thing about the BA is the bare ass is fine and almost adolescent and no problemo. But if you get the BS involved with the BA, now we're in trouble, which is backsack. Backsack takes BA from fun and games to scarring, to a mental scarring.
You get on a list if you get the scrote.
Yeah, you get backsack, we got an issue.
But it's also so interesting in our society because let's say that's a hot chick doing that.
Yeah.
There is real currency in that. Like, think about that. Like, what that must do to your mind going, if I take this off, I make a lot of money and everybody celebrates me. Yeah. Like the weird kind of power that is. And then he does the same thing. And now he's just getting annihilated.
But that's the rules. The naked chick is sexy. Naked dude is funny. Yeah. So that's the way it goes.
Or traumatizing.
Yeah, that's trauma.
Also, Mencia.
Do some squats if you're going to do that.
Mencia's turning into the Mexican Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think you kind of could see. Look at that picture.
He is.
You put an afro on him and go, that's Neil deGrasse Tyson was doing a set.
Yeah. Just an astrophysicist talking about how many genders there are.
Oh, yeah.
I feel guilty in a way because, like, I was the guy that went, hey, Rogan, that guy did a joke just like yours. He said, what did you say? And then he went in and did that incident, the famous YouTube.
You kicked that
off?
I was
there. I was outside in the parking lot smoking a joint with Ari Shaffir. Yeah,
what?
Allegedly.
Ari Shaffir smokes marijuana cigarettes?
He does.
Well, wait a second. You were at Ground Zero for that?
That night. Yeah, I heard a commotion and didn't know that was a big drama until a million years later.
Well, what's crazy about that is that is a great example of your ego is not your amigo. If Carlos Mencia doesn't walk on stage, we're in a totally different timeline.
I know, you're right. Yeah.
Well, so what happened?
He did like a voice that Joe did. That was the only thing that I was like, wow, that was like exactly like.
You saw Joe set that night?
I saw Joe set that night, and then later on, Mencia came on and went, did that same kind of tard voice that Joe did. And I was like, oh, wow, that was like just like Joe.
Wait a minute, I'm the grandfather of the tard voice.
Yeah,
exactly.
Jesus Christ.
And also would do that.
But
Joe
was also the premise was like something, it was very similar.
So
I don't remember
went
exactly
out to you were blowing spleef with Ari in the parking lot.
And I just mentioned to Joe, hey, man, he did like a joke just like yours. And I was like, I was like young, like 22 or something. And I was just
young Mayhem.
Yeah, young Mayhem was, I was just shocked that I thought that you weren't allowed to do that.
You're technically not.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. So I didn't know the whole comedic. I was like I watched Comedy Central, but I wasn't like,
what happened
I was a little kid. I was fighter.
Joe introduced the next comic, which was Kurt Fox, who's opening for Carlos Mencia as he opens for Carlos Mencia.
Yeah.
And then, like an idiot, Carlos comes on stage, and the reason Carlos lost everybody is, well, right now he won't admit he did it. And I like Carlos. I root for him. He won't admit he did it. And then they found out he wasn't Mexican. And in those communities, that's a big deal, dude.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite. I find out you are Mexican, I don't like it. So then Joe goes up on stage?
Yeah.
While Mencia is on stage and confronts him?
He calls him out, okay, so he brings up Kirk. Kirk goes up on stage. Carlos walks right on stage, grabs the mic from Kirk, starts screaming at Rogan. Rogan comes back on stage. Young Rogan comes back on stage, and then all chaos breaks loose.
How was it filmed?
Joe was kind of ahead of his time of doing these like video blogs, and Brian Redband, who he met in Ohio, just was filming everything.
Yeah, Redband was everywhere, always with that camera.
That's early for
it was real
grabbed
early. It was
on
like a long
tape.
time ago.
Yeah. So you were the typhoid Mary of that whole.
I always do the same thing. I'm the COVID guy. I'm not. Yeah, I guess that's some.
Wow.
In other news, Joe Rogan.
Hold on. 'Cause now we got Susan Olsen out there. And she's been waiting for a while.
Okay.
All right. So Sam, let me give you a plug.
Thank you, buddy.
Website samtripoli.com. That's where the special is. Why is everyone? Wait, sorry. Why is everybody getting quiet? Sorry, it's handwritten, so it's all good, dude. Little tough.
There we go.
All right, there it is. Go watch that. It's full hour.
Yeah, it's 51 minutes.
That's good enough. Oh, we got Neil deGrasse Tyson and Mencia's picture.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. And that's a young Neil deGrasse Tyson.
It is,
because he's gotten sloppy since.
A little sloppier. Yeah. All right.